We are joined by Pradeep Maharaj, who's the executive at SARB for the Payment Ecosystem Program. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. I want to start off with the fact that the SARB has embarked on a feasibility study. What exactly does this imply, especially in terms of the CBDC?
When it comes to CBDC, we did a feasibility study a little while ago. Very recently, in the last few weeks, the SARB has published a position paper on the topic. What the position paper shows is that, following the detailed study that we've done on the feasibility, is that there may be room for us to consider wholesale CBDC. However, we do not believe there's a use case for a retail CBDC. And therefore, we would not be pursuing that any further. What we are going to put our energies into is modernizing the payment system and making sure that fast payment systems, retail payment systems, are available to every person that transacts in this economy. So a fast payment system, one that you and I can use to pay a car guard, and the car guard can use to transact digitally.
It's funny you mentioned the car guard example because just the other day I was in a bit of a situation and I didn't have cash on me. And I looked at the car guard and I said, I don't know how to help you. And he said, well, can you e-wallet me? And I said, if you have access to e-wallet, absolutely. How important is it for us to modernize payments so that everybody is financially included, like a car guard or somebody that doesn't have access to cash and needs that money?
You know, we've got, so in South Africa, we've got very sophisticated financial systems. You know, some of the best in the world.
Wow.
However, it does not address the needs of 60% of our population who rely on cash for their daily transactions. It's not that they don't want to use digital payments. The car guard that has a wallet functionality that you can transfer money to. Not all of them have that option for a whole variety of reasons. There's no silver bullet. What we want to do is create a smart cash society, one where every person has an equal opportunity to decide what payment option they want to use. Is it physical? Is it digital? Is it a bank account or not? That transacting becomes safe, secure, cheap, and affordable and accessible.
Let's speak about how innovation is moving quickly. But there's also an element of trust that needs to be built. How important is it for the regulator to come in here for the new payment systems that are set to come up, fintechs, for example, and all of that, that there needs to be trust in order for these systems to thrive, if so?
Yeah. So two things. One is that we do have equilibrium, as I said, but you needed an authority like the central bank to come in to shift that equilibrium to a higher level so that it's available to everyone in the country. So that's the first one. What gives us that ability to step in? Firstly, we are the regulator. So we have control over this environment. And by setting strategies like we've done, Vision 2025, and left it to the market to solve for, it hasn't happened at the pace that we'd like to see. So we are stepping in. But we're going to work with all of the players because this is a network. It doesn't help if I build a road, but it doesn't connect your house to my house or connect your house to this venue. Somebody has to connect it. So we know that there's multiple players in this stream to get you from your house to here. And so all of us need to work together. And in doing that, if we leave it to each individual institution, there's never going to be trust because we're competing. My bank is competing with your bank, my fintech is competing with your fintech, or whatever the case is. And therefore, there'll never be trust. So you need someone that sits above this, that pulls all the parties together to create the trust. And the SARB has a 100-year history of trust, right? You know, we have a 100-year history. You take your banknote in your wallet, if you do carry banknotes, for granted. You trust it. The only reason you trust it is because we tell you you must trust that this piece of cotton with some ink on it is worth money, and therefore you exchange value with it.
Let's speak about some of the risks that exist with the payment system evolving the way that it is. There's fraud, there are scams, and that obviously chips away at the trust, doesn't it? How do we address that?
Yeah. So we are designing this new ecosystem with fraud uppermost in our mind. And so the best way to deal with fraud is to make sure that the fraudsters don't enter the system. So you build a trusted ecosystem by making sure it becomes very difficult for them to come in. Once they're in, you must be able to detect them and then exclude them as well. So what are we doing? It's why we have pushed this idea that we need a digital financial ID with your biometrics captured in the system that allows me to authenticate and verify that you are who you say you are and that you are authorized to do what it is you say you want to do, so that I could make a payment to you digitally and the payment doesn't go to someone else, and that you then trust that the payment has come to you and then you'll exchange value in real time. So we are thinking about fraud from day one. But that is to try and stop fraudsters coming in and making sure only authorized people come into the system. Of course, that's not going to stop the fraud. They'll figure out ways to get around that. And so once they're in the system, make sure we all collaborate, share information in this ecosystem that allows us to target, identify, detect, and respond to the different scams. And so in that regard, very soon we're going to propose that we create a fraud utility for the country that everyone contributes to. Because the more we share the information, the better our opportunity to start to address the fraud in the system.
Just lastly, your views on a cashless or cash smart society?
There's no debate about it. A cashless society does not exist and will not exist. It's a myth. It will not exist. A cash smart society, absolutely. One where we can choose to pay digitally or physically, but know that the payment can be trusted, it's fast, it's secure, it's efficient, and it's affordable, and it's accessible.